Welcome to the Dropstore Supplier Dashboard demo. I'll be taking you through your supplier dashboard and showing you the different functions, features, and important things to note as a supplier. Now that you are verified, which just simply means your supply account has been activated and you may now start integrating, your products, processing those orders from your resellers as well. So initially, when you would have signed up for Dropstore, chosen I want to be a supplier, 100% free, and proceeded to then complete the sign up form. From the sign up form, you go through a activation process, which you would then by now have received the email that will state that you are now activated and you can then start uploading your products. Now we have different methods of integration with Dropstore, of adding your products on Dropstore. There is the manual order upload, where you can manually create your products, or you can use our CSV import option, or you can use the other integration e-commerce platforms that we have available to be able to integrate with on Dropstore, which is your Shopify, your WooCommerce, TradeGecko, Shopping Feeder, as well as Stock to Shop. But we will be going through the entire dashboard and showing you the different places where you will also be able to integrate and how you will then be able to add your products onto Dropstore by means of these different ways of getting your products onto Dropstore. So this demo will see us going through every part of this particular supply dashboard. Great. To get started, when you first log in to your supplier dashboard, it allows you to have a summary view of your earnings. Okay. Now there is monthly and then there is total income. Now the total income does include any unfulfilled orders, so it might not be a true reflection of how much you are actually making. For that, you would need to then go into your payment portal, which you will find here, but a little bit more on that. That's where you'll find your actual amounts that you are getting as a payout, or the invoices for those orders that you have dispatched for your resellers as well. So you first get onto here, which is just a summary view. This also includes total number of items sold. Now the system doesn't take the per order, so it doesn't say you've got maybe 3, 4, 5 orders. Instead, it will look at the products in those orders and how many of those products you've actually sold, and that will be the number that goes in here by the total number of items sold. And then there is also the total number of products that you have on Dropstore. This also includes the unavailable items. So this is the total number of products that you have added onto Dropstore, whether or not they are active. This is where you will find that number as well. Another thing that you will get is if you have a payout available in your dashboard. If there's a payout available, you would normally get a notice here saying that there's a payout available. Here where there's a payout available, there is a button that will be able to take you from this point into your payout page or payout menu item, which is situated on the left hand side. The menu items are situated on the left hand side of your Dropstore dashboard, with some shortcuts that are available throughout, which one of them is this one. Here you'll be able to see that there's a payout available, and if you are needing to have your banking details corrected as well, it would state that banking information is available or banking information is not available. But for you to be able to change your banking information, you just simply click on that particular profile next to the avatar, and you'll then see an option to have your banking details updated and completed, which you can then just add and then just simply save. Okay, so that's where you will find that information and how you can go about updating your banking information. The other thing that you will notice in the dashboard is you will have profile verification. Okay, now profile verification works with your verification documents. Now, what profile verification simply means is that you can be 100% verified as a supplier, because the documentation here also leads to another feature that we have on Dropstore, which is called CBS, or cash before shipping, which is a payment feature that allows for suppliers to receive order payments immediately into their linked Payfast account. So, in order for that to happen, you need to be 100% registered, which you would then be able to access that either directly in your dashboard, where you would have your profile verification, where you can upload the documents, or you can come onto your profile once more, or and click on verification documents, and it will then take you through to the page where you can complete and add the other information such as your proof of bank, which would be a bank verification letter, the director's ID copies. In this case, we would take one of the directors instead of all of them. So just you guys would choose, or the one that is affiliated to the Payfast account. Then it would be the that director's ID information, and the proof of information, as well as the Payfast merchant ID, which you will find in your Payfast merchant account. Now, once you're 100% verified and you've been on Dropstore for some time, then you can definitely be able to request for the CBS, or cash before shipping feature. But it does come with some criteria first, or requirements that you need to have gone through in order for you to then be able to apply for such. But for now, we would suggest having as much information, or uploading all of your documentation on Dropstore, which will then take you to 100% verified or 80% verified, depending, because I know that not everybody uses Payfast. All right. So just to, you'll also be able to get, now the pending orders. This is where orders that need to be fulfilled. You will get maybe up to a count of possibly 3 orders on here, but in order for you to have the full view of how many orders are needing you to fulfill them, which you will find under your customer orders. But we will be going through everything in that, and I will be taking you through to your different tabs, as well as the different menu items, and showing you how you can go about to complete fulfillment, and what the other information on your dashboard is all about. So you get a summary view when you land on your dashboard of sort of not your entire supplier dashboard, because there are other settings that are situated elsewhere, but it gives you a good idea of where you are standing in terms of monies made, items sold, and how many products you have, and if there are any orders that may be possibly pending, and if there's any payouts that are waiting for you, or whether or not you are 100% verified as a supplier. Okay. Right, now still on the dashboard, remember I was showing you here where you can access the shortcuts to your profile, the banking information, the verification documents, the statements, and change currency. So with your profile, this is a shortcut that takes you through to your profile settings. You can access it here, or you can even access it under your account details. And when you enter or click on that, that's where you can put in your contact information, the name of the contact that can be contacted in the event of any inquiries, and their telephone number. And also, this is where you can add in the notification email. Now, it's very important that the notification email is an email that is always accessible, because you not only get order notifications on here, you also get message notifications, which our resellers will be able to, or your reseller will be able to then send you messages. Those messages would appear on the side, where you'll be able to see that message, and then you'll be able to also respond to that message, should it be from a reseller. Now they would ask you basic questions such as, maybe the order is delayed, or it's a question that they have about the product, or even possibly there is an inquiry with regards to a return. So you'll be able to respond to those messages directly on your dashboard, or from your drop store, because a reseller is not allowed to contact you via telephone, but they can reach out to you via direct messaging, which is where which is what we've made available for them to be able to do, because they can just send you messages. You are also able to send messages to resellers on on orders that are unfulfilled, and you could always find out about, maybe there's something missing in a particular order. It could be a change of color because you don't have a specific product color. It could be anything that has to do with that particular order, and you can just send a message directly. And any attachments that you wish to include, you can also attach those files and send those files through to the reseller. So it's also a really nice function to have, where you want to interact as well with your reseller on a particular order. Could be missing something. It could be just as an FYI on a delay. It could be any communication that you wish to have with your reseller, but it will only be on orders that are unfulfilled. But we'll get into that a little bit more as we move along the line of menu items in your supplier dashboard. Here you can also access the your currency or change currency setting. The change currency setting simply means that as an international supplier, you can then be able to change from dollars to rands. You can be whatever the currency you're currently using can then be converted it to rands, to make it easier, because Dropstore is fully available throughout for the South African market. We mostly are within the South African market and catering for the South African community for the time being. However, we do welcome international suppliers coming through, and being able to, if they can deliver, there are resellers that need international items. If they can deliver within a specific time, because the quicker you deliver, the better it is for that relationship between your reseller as well as the reseller and their customer. So there are criteria involved when international suppliers get in, but they are able to change currencies using this shortcut that is here. The my statement is just for your payments shortcut, or rather where, or you don't even have to really go into my statements, because we have got a different payment portal that you can access, where you'll then be able to view your statements and your invoices, and any information with regards to payouts that you may need. So you'll be able to access it here under your payments menu item within your menu items in your supplier dashboard, and you can just simply go into the portal using the username, and doing a password reset would be able to get you logged in, and then you'll have all the information that we would have as well. This includes invoices that you would like to generate for specific orders, or you'll be able to view your statement of all your payouts that have occurred, and any fees that go along with the fees as well that have been payable, as well as a history of the amounts that have been paid out to you as well, and that is where you'll be able to find it. However, I am jumping the gun. And we're going to start from the top and then work our way down to the bottom. There are articles also provided, in the different steps or different pages as we go through. Like, for example, you'll see that there is an article on how you fulfill your orders, which you can just make access and make use of. It will take you through to our FAQs, and it gives you a breakdown and guide on how you would then fulfill your order if you received that particular order. Okay, so we'll start off with we'll start from the top and work our way down. All right. Okay, so starting off, we will be starting off with premium listing. Now, premium listings are a way for suppliers to give more eyeballs to their products by placing it directly in front of merchants. Now, what this simply means is that merchants would be able to, if you opt for a premium listing service from Dropstore, then you would be able to get a number of products in front of have those products in front of resellers when they first log in onto their dashboard. So when a merchant logs in or signs up to Dropstore, they immediately are able to see your product before they are able to search for any other product. The process is quite simple and allows you to add as many products as you want to your premium listing collection. So it's very, very simple. And there is also a guide on how you would be able to do that. Let me just go back here. Okay, for you to be able to select the number of products as well as how many of those products you for how many days you would like to have those different products. Let me just cancel this. Do that. From future dates on how long you wish to have the listing running for, and then you will then be able to then once you've chosen a date range, then you can select the number of products that you wish to have listed. You add them to your cart, and all you simply do is then check out. So as you can see, it will tell you the name of the product, how much you're paying, how many days you would want to advertise it for, and what the total of that. And you just simply proceed to check out, where then you'll be able to pay using our payment provider, any of the payment provider methods, which would be debit card, credit card, or EFT, depending on what it is that you would like to use. So that's how you would do the premium listing. But there is an article provided for premium listings, which you are able to make access of, and it gives you a little bit more information as well about premium listing, as well as the steps that you can take for when you are applying for premium listing. Okay, so when the steps that you're applying for premium listing, so you can make use of that and you can learn even more. Now we move on. The list of your listings, you'll be able to have a record of that under my listings, under the premium listing menu, and that's where you will find the list of all of your listings that you've ever had under your premium listing. So it's just nice to have that record. Now there are other ways to use premium listing. As a supplier, you can be using premium listing to introduce new products. You can use premium listing to introduce yourself to to Dropstore resellers, by having your product on and as when they sign up and log in. You can also use premium listing for items that you wish to promote further. So you can use it in different ways that would be beneficial for you as a supplier on Dropstore. Okay, next is the customer orders menu. Now this is where you can view all of your orders placed by resellers. Okay, and then you'll also be able to fulfill them on here and then get paid. Now you'll not be able to request a payout until an order has been completely fulfilled. So up until an order looks like this, where the status is fulfilled, and all the information has been added, and it's completely fulfilled, and it's under this fulfilled menu, fulfilled tab, you will not get paid. You have to completely fulfill that order, but I will be showing you how you can completely fulfill that order. So the fulfilled menu under the customer orders is for all the orders that you have fulfilled on Dropstore completely, and this is where you'll find the record of those orders and any custom information that you wish to access. The next menu item is the unfulfilled section. Now this is where you will process your received orders from your resellers. Now, Dropstore only sends orders that have been successfully paid by resellers. There are steps to help you, to complete your fulfillment process. And as I said, you need to completely fulfill in order to request a payout, which would be available in about 3 to 5 days after fulfillment. Usually way quicker. Sometimes you find it's within 48 hours, so the quicker you can fulfill your orders, the quicker it is you can be able to request a payout for that particular order. So in order to completely fulfill, there is an article that shows you how you would go about fulfilling and the steps you take. And you remember, as I said earlier, you'll also be able to send messages to your reseller in the event of anything missing on the order, and you wish to be able to let them know that you're still in need of something, hence why the order may still be unfulfilled. So this is just the article that has got steps on how you will fulfill an order, and you would then be able to send a message, and then obviously you will receive the message here, and then you can follow the steps to fulfill. You're also able to cancel the order directly on here. So what this simply means is that just okay. So on the unfulfilled menu item or tab under customer orders is where you would then completely fulfill your orders. As I mentioned, you can follow the steps which will be provided by means of an article, and you can also send messages if you are missing any detail for that particular order, and you can also even cancel that order on here. Now, when you cancel an order as a supplier, it will immediately refund the reseller. So it's very important that the quicker you cancel, the quicker they can receive their refund. Now, you can refund for any number of reasons that are listed as well, and you can select the most appropriate one. So what it does, it immediately sends this to a refund process, and the customer will then receive their refund. Okay. So it's the fulfillment is very important towards your payout, which is the most important thing for you as a supplier. All right. Now, as I did mention, uh, the the um, the messages that you send are going to be received here. You can respond from here as well, no problem. We move on to the paid menu tab, where you'll find all the records of all paid orders. You are able to confirm any unfulfilled orders that you may think are not being paid. You can confirm them on here. You can just simply use this search function and search by customer name or even order number. Um, you can also fulfill any unfulfilled ones here. So any item that has been paid, you will find it here. If it's not on here, that means was not paid. If it was not on here, that means that you are unable to fulfill. Remember, Dropstore only sends orders that are fulfilled. I mean, sorry, the only paid orders, only orders that have been paid for you to then fulfill. So we move on to the next menu tab, which is the unpaid section. This is where you'll find all the orders that resellers have received but not yet processed or completed payment for on those orders. You're also able to clear any unpaid orders and cancel them if you so wish, because it does happen that sometimes, even though a reseller has placed an order or started the order process, they have not received payment for it yet, and they may do it at a later stage. So you could possibly look at clearing, your menu, every 3 months, for example, or every 3 weeks. You can then think of clearing your menu, and having no information on here. So that's where you will find all your unpaid. The next menu tab is the cancelled. So when you cancel an order, it goes into the cancelled tab under the customer orders menu. And this is where a record of all the canceled orders. So anything that was canceled by yourself, or even on the reseller side, it will end up here. So if you're looking for an order that you may have canceled and you need more information on it, this is where you will find it. Right. Next, we move on to ratings. So Dropstore merchants are able to rate your service, which then becomes available to all other merchants. So please ensure that you always put your best foot forward. Quick responses to merchant inquiries and quick delivery times ensures continued happiness, and good ratings for everybody. In this tab, you'll find all of your reseller ratings and comments. Now, changing a rating will be a discussion between yourself and your reseller. Okay, so whatever ratings have been added onto here by your reseller, they become available and visible to other resellers, so they can see, what the type of supplier you are and the type of service that you may be providing. So that's where you will find those ratings. So if you want to change a rating, maybe you had a bad rating at some point and you guys resolved it, then you could request from your reseller to change that rating for you, and they'll be able to do it on their side. Okay. The next menu tab is the products. Okay, the products menu. With Dropstore, you're able to add your products as mentioned earlier, manually or integrate with other e-commerce platforms like WooCommerce, Shopify, Shopping Feeder, Stock to Shop, and TradeGecko. Now, I will be going through the different upload methods after I've gone through the rest of the supplier dashboard features and how they work. So still in the products menu, here you will find all of your listed products on Dropstore. Any products that you have listed or added in Dropstore, this is where you will find them. Here you will also be able to edit, you'll be able to activate, you'll be able to deactivate products in this tab. Now, only products that have been manually uploaded can be edited right, can be edited and disabled or activated, disabled or activated using the bulk action or using this action here. You just simply click on the status to change it from inactive to active, and where you'll then be able to edit the product. Now, only products that have been manually uploaded can you do this directly on Dropstore. Okay, the disable and activate functions for automatic integration only has a 24-hour effect. Okay, so for those that I've mentioned, which is the e-commerce platforms that I've mentioned, which are the automatic integration, that disable and activate on here that you may possibly use. Okay, so if you are using a Shopify, for example, and you activate and disable here, that is only effective on a 24-hour period before it will revert to the initial status. Okay, that is if you're using any of the mentioned e-commerce platforms. All right, and the reason for that, is that with the automatic integrated products, like the e-commerce platforms that we are linked to or are linked to Dropstore that you use, whether using a Shopify, whether using your WooCommerce or TradeGecko, and so on and so forth, you do everything on the main source, which will be in your store. Because anything that you do in your store, it will then be able to be affected in Dropstore, and in turn be affected in all of your products and to those stores that have added your product. Okay, so that's one of the tips, and that's one of the notes that I have for you. You can set a bulk action. You can set bulk action, you know, to disable Dropstore from importing any of products that you may have selected that you do not want. This is now this bulk action can be used for manually uploaded product, or even the automatic product. It does the same function for all the methods, and it would take these products, if you were to go ahead and disable, and it will take them through and add them into your disable product tab. This is where you will then find those products being pushed to, and any of the other disabled products. Okay, you can always remove products from on here. You just simply change the status of that, and you simply remove it. Now, if you're doing an automatic integration with Dropstore, and you stop Dropstore from actually importing a certain number of products or a certain product, then it would stop importing or getting information on that from your side. But the minute you remove it from your disabled product, it will then start that process again, and any information or any edits that have happened for that particular product, whether it be inventory levels or it be pricing changes, those would also then become effect when you start the process and you enable that product to then now start being pulled as well. Okay. So anything that you've removed in your disabled product that is automatically integrated with Dropstore would then start that process again and catch up with any amendments that have happened or updates on that particular product. But if it's just products that you've added using the manual upload methods, then you can just simply update them, and then you can just change the status to active, and then they will now then become available. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, which is very, very important, so I will repeat it, products that are being automatically integrated using those e-commerce platforms that I mentioned, the Shopify, the WooCommerce, the TradeGecko, and so on, they need to be edited in the main source. So you will need to edit those products in your store where we are pulling from, and everything will then be affected onto Dropstore. Okay. So any real time information like inventory levels, updates, on items sold. Maybe you adding a new variant to a particular product, which you would do in your store. That information will then be pulled through. If you're adding a new image for a particular product in your store, that information you will be able then to be pulled through as well and update on Dropstore. But that's only for those that are automatically integrated. For everybody else that is using manual integration or CSV, they will literally need to do all of that in Dropstore. They can go into Dropstore, edit the product, and then do what they need to do on those particular products. But as I said, I will come back again and we will go through how you manually create a product and how you add it using CSV function. So, but I will definitely come back when I'm doing that because I'll do those, or I'll do all of them at the same time. Okay. So we've done our product. We move on to the categories. Okay. Now, as a supplier, it's very important that you are seen and your products are visible in their correct categories. On Dropstore, many of the resellers or merchants use the categories to search for products they want. So having your product categorized helps them really help you. Okay. And you also may be penalized if your products have been uploaded without adding them to any Dropstore category. So this feature is very important, not just to be found and seen in correct categories, but also towards your sales. All right. Now, Dropstore enables you to map the categories from your inventory management software or online store directly into your Dropstore supplier dashboard. So what this means is if we have done an automatic integration and we are pulling products from your store, which is your Shopify store or a WooCommerce store, or from TradeGecko or from Shopping Feeder, any of those that I've mentioned, then we will also pull the categories that those products are in. And then all you simply do is get onto your map categories menu, and you can just then start matching your categories to those of Dropstore categories. Okay. So once you start doing that, then your products will land up in the correct categories in Dropstore and you may not be penalized. Now, for those that are manually creating the products or adding them using CSV, you can, when you are in the process of creating the product, you are able to select a category same time. So you don't really have to worry too much about being penalized with regards to you not being able to map the categories that you of the products that you are listing, because when you are manually doing it, you would have gone through the process of choosing a category. It's one of the requirements of choosing a category for a particular product, and that product ending up in that particular category as well. Okay, so this one is only relevant to suppliers that have set up integration for product import using the e-commerce platforms that Dropstore is able to integrate with. And it will, as I said, we will pull the categories from those platforms and into Dropstore to then be matched with those in Dropstore. Okay, so for manual product create, you will be required initially to add the category when you are creating the product, as well as for CSV. Although for CSV, there is a category column in the file, but please make sure that your products are definitely in correct Dropstore categories. So you may still need to go into your Dropstore products page under all products and edit those and just see if they are in their correct categories. Just to see if they are in your correct categories. Okay. All right. So next we move on to the shipping price rule. So this way you can set your flat rate shipping fee or set rules for your weight categories. Now, an important thing to note, when you add your flat rate shipping fee, which you can have here, you can click on flat rate shipping fee. It will be the shipping fee across all of your products and the shipping fee that reseller will see when they're placing orders or looking at your products. So this is the shipping fee that they will see. Unless you have set it individually on certain products, to have a different shipping fee, then that was will be shown to suppliers. So your product, I'll just go through this. This is the flat rate shipping fee, if you can see here, of 75 Rand. So if you go into all the product, that is the shipping fee that will then be available on all of your product, and that's what the reseller will see. They will see that 75 Rand shipping fee, or whatever the shipping fee is on your side. Now, you can leave the shipping fee if you're doing a manual upload. You can leave the shipping fee column empty, because you're using a flat rate shipping fee, so it will be set automatically on your profile. But remember, if you have a product that has got a higher shipping fee, then you can also just have it, you can also change it in that product. You can go into that product, edit that product, and put in the shipping fee particularly for that product. Okay, so this can be done for manual as well as automatic product integration, where you are able to change the shipping fee for specific products because they may be higher. So this is like the big items as well. You may find that you need to change the shipping fee for those items as well. Now, to set the rules for your weight categories, make sure that products added to Dropstore with variations and different weights have that information added on the have that information added on those variants, because you can set your shipping price rules. So if your product so for example, if your products are from a 2 kg to 5 kg, then the amount is going to be 90 Rand. But if your products are from your 0.9 kg, for example, to 2 kg, then there'll be 90 Rand. So you can set how much is going to be your shipping, your weight categories based on the products that you have. Now, it's important that those products, please get those variants in. If you're going to be using products with variants and they come in as a different model, and you want them to have, or you want to include them in a weight category, so you would add the variant here. So remember, your variant can be size. So where you can say that, for example, you have a particular product like this one here, but you want it to fall under a specific type of weight class. So you will then set the sizing here. For example, this would be maybe the size is large, or the size is medium, or the size is small. So depending on which category or weight class you would like to have that information here updated, and then you can then be able to set those weight classes, in your shipping price rules. And that is how the system will then calculate at checkout, at placement of an order, so that it will always give you the correct shipping cost for that particular product. Okay, and also for you not to make a loss on shipping certain items that may be a lot heavier. Okay, so just to move on, now we had touched earlier on the account details settings, because you could access them also under my profile, on the top right, with that shortcut. So in your account details setting, this is sort of your admin section for the company, for your product, as well as for the contact information. Yeah, you can amend the contact information. Can amend the contact information and notification details. So the contact information is whoever is the person that can be contacted, as well as their contact number, and the notification email, which is very, very important, that it is accessible, always accessible, and is operational. You want to make sure that email added there is under those conditions of accessibility and operational, you are able to change it. So this email gets your order notifications and any message notifications, as I had initially mentioned before. So as well as whatever number that would need to be contacted in the event of any further inquiries. Okay. The next tab is the company information tab. Now, please note that resellers do not have access to this information. The only thing they'll see is your business trading name. Okay. They'll also see about your business and your return policy. So it's very important to put in as much information on your returns policy. Um, on your returns policy, okay? Because with Dropstore, we work in accordance with the CPA, which is the Consumer Protection Act, and the returns requirements must be in accordance with CPA rules for returns. However, we understand that each supplier may have their own returns policies, which is also needs to be in line with CPA rules. So having a returns policy in place, helps the merchants be able to customize their own returns as well, accordingly, and be able to follow your returns process when the need arises. So please make sure that you put in as much detail of your returns process and any estimated times to process those. Okay, so in the company information, your resellers will see the name, about the business and what it does, as well as how do the returns policy work. Okay, you can also add, if registered for VAT, your VAT number in this section. Your customers will be able to download all their order invoices with your relevant VAT information instead of having to contact you directly. Now, it's important to note on the VAT information that our system will not be able to provide for your VAT calculation if you do not add your VAT registration number, which in turn will be added to all of your customer order invoices. So now the reseller doesn't have to come to you and bother you and worry you too much, because the system will do everything. Even on the invoice, it will calculate and include your VAT number that will be on there. Okay, so it's also important for you to add that information if you do have it. Okay, the next tab will be the product catalog tab, where you will find also information on what your flat rate shipping fee is if you've added one, the processing time, as well as the delivery time. Okay, this is where the information appears. Now, this information appears on your product as well. Okay, so this information appears on the product as well. This information appears on your profile, which is the company basic information. Okay, and this information appears on your product. So next to your product, you will see that that product has got a 75 Rand shipping, flat rate shipping fee, for example. It will take 5 days to process, for example, and it will be delivered within 3 to 5 working days. So important to note that the processing time is how long it takes to process the order, and the delivery time is how long it takes to have the item delivered once it has been processed. So please make sure you cater for any delays on delivery or processing when adding this information. Right, next we move on to the change currency settings menu item. Now, as I'd mentioned to you earlier, if you're an international supplier, here you'll be able to convert from currency you use to the rands. If you don't find the currency you use, you can always send a request to your account manager to have that added, and that's where you would find whether you are it will be converted to the South African rands. Okay. The next menu item is the cash before shipping setting. Now, this is where you can apply, as I mentioned earlier in this video, this is where you can apply to be added onto that feature if you qualify. Now, to qualify, as I had said earlier, is that you need to be 100% verified or have 100% verification documents uploaded, and you need to have sold over 50 products. So now the initial information of products sold rather than orders placed comes into effect on this. So you need to have over 50 products that have been sold and at least been on Dropstore, for 3 months. Um, and then you can request to become a CBS supplier, where as a payment feature, money goes straight into your PayFast account, into your PayFast linked account. Okay. Okay, so the next menu item is the payment section. Now I had touched a little bit on the payment section. This is for your payment portal. It will take you through to your payment portal, which will give you then access, to your Dropstore accounting system for all your invoices on orders, statements, and payout information. Now, when you click on the provided link, go to your portal, you will then be taken to your payment portal, which is a separate system, and then you can use the username provided. All right. Now, because you wouldn't have a password initially, you'll just need to do a password reset, and then you'll be able to log in and see all the information that you wish. Okay. So we move on to the payout request. Now again, there is a shortcut on your dashboard for you to reach this stage. As soon as you put here with your payout request, that's where you can view your available payout amount and request for a payout. Remember, you can always check your statements in your payment portal to confirm any amount. So all you would need to do is simply put in the amount which will become available. Now, because it's a pending one, okay. So if you have a pending payout, a payout will not be available. You can check out the article once again for you to be able to find out more about payout requests and their conditions and their terms. What happens when you don't have a available payout, how you request one, all that information. So you'll then be able to access that article, and it will tell you when you have a payout that you've already requested and which date, and it will then have the amounts or the records listed here for you. Okay. Now, we do provide you with all the information with our help articles. However, if you don't find what you're looking for, you are more than welcome to make contact with your account manager further. Okay, you're more than welcome to make contact with your account manager further, and we'll then be able to assist you. Okay, I'll now be taking you through the different integration methods, how to access them and how to use them. Remember, with Dropstore, you're able to add your products manually, okay, or integrate with other e-commerce platforms like the WooCommerce, the Shopify, the TradeGecko, the Shopping Feeder, and Stock to Shop, as I had been mentioning. Okay, so we will start with the manual product upload and CSV, as they are both very similar types of integration methods. Only products that have been manually uploaded can be edited, disabled, and activated directly on Dropstore. So CSV products as well as manually created products are the only ones that can be edited directly on Dropstore and deactivated and activated directly on Dropstore without there being a reversal of whatever action that you placed, simply because it's on an automatic integration and it was not done at the source, at the platform source. So those are the only two methods of integration that are able to have the items being edited directly on here, and also being able to be disabled and enabled, etc. on directly on Dropstore. Okay. So I did also mention that with the bulk action to disable, we'll push them into the disabled Dropstore. We'll push them onto the disabled product. Okay. Anyway, To manually upload, you just simply click on create product option. Okay. And then proceed to have all the information, add all the information, the product name, the full description. Right? It's very important that you add as much product description as possible, and any specs that will be advantageous to the customer. I'm talking things like product dimensions, packaging dimensions, if it's gonna come in like in a big, in a big box, directions of use or installation manuals, technical specs, warning labels, as well as any product certifications that that product can come with, as well as number of days to manufacture, or even materials that we use. So it's very important that you add all the information when you're creating the product. You will immediately be required to choose a category, and you will then also need to put a unique SKU code, okay, a unique code that is recognizable for when an order is placed. You know that that code belongs to product B for color blue, size small. So you put the unique code here. That will be an identifier for you as well, and all the other information that you wish to add onto this particular product. Now remember, if you don't have a shipping fee added, it will take the flat rate shipping fee unless you put in a shipping fee here that is for this particular product. So you may find that this particular product is a lot more in terms of shipping, so you would rather want that it is a little bit more priced, or more it has a different shipping cost to it, simply because of those factors. So you would put that information here. Okay, you're also able to create any variant of those products by simply adding the variant and proceeding to then have that information added. So it could be the color, it could be size, it could be model, it could be whatever types of variations that product may have, and that's where you would be able to add that. With Dropstore, you're able to have a main image and then any additional images of that product. So make sure that the product is caught at different angles. It just makes the description as well as the product view that much more better. It gives the customers a lot more variety in terms of seeing it at different angles as well. So that's how you would go about creating a product. Once you've completed everything, you just simply save. Obviously, it's not going to do it because I haven't really put in. But if there is a field that you have forgotten or you have not added, the system will definitely tell you. Okay, the system will tell you with regards to what field is missing and what is it that you have missed out on for you to be able to then move forward. So once you save, it will then be able to have that product information available. Now the status will also depend on if you left the status as active or inactive. That's definitely up to you as well. But you can also always go back in and edit that product, because with manual product create, you can edit those products directly onto Dropstore, and those changes take effect immediately. Okay. Now we move on to the CSV upload method. Now for CSV, you will first need to download. Okay, you first need to download the sample. Okay. Now when you download the sample, I had initially downloaded the sample. Now the sample gives you a guideline. Okay, the sample gives you a guideline. Here we go. The sample gives you a guideline of the columns. Okay, I don't know why. Right, no problem. Now the sample gives you a guideline of the columns and the information required in those columns, for it to then be able to be uploaded with the correct information going into the correct places on your product information. All right. So also, please do not change any titles of these columns, because if you do, there's a possibility that it will give you errors when you and your upload will not become successful when you are doing it. So leave it as is and just add the information that is required. Just add information that is required from the product name to the description, the SKU, the quantity, the price. Now, uh, there should be no decimal points when you're putting in quantity or even price. It should just be a solid number. So there's no 9.99.99. It should just be a solid number in that regard. Have it as just a solid number, and then your image URL. If you don't know where you can, there are websites that allow for you to store images and then generate an image URL for those, and you can actually just put that information on here. The categories again, you on Dropstore, you can choose category. You can choose a category particularly for this product again, but you are more than welcome to put in a category on here. But if it's not a category that matches to Dropstore, then you would need to go in and actually change that. Okay. Now, please make sure that you add in as much information on the product description as possible. Again, this would be your dimensions, whether products or packaging, directions of use or installation manuals, any technical specs, any warning labels, any product certifications, how many days it will take to manufacture, for example, and the materials that we use. So in everything, okay, and then you save it still as a CSV, okay. You save it still as a CSV. All right. So now to upload your CSV, you simply go into import CSV, okay. You choose the file that you had done. In this case, we had did the sample, okay. You choose the file. Okay, you can save that as a different CSV or whatever you had saved it as, that particular CSV that you're following a guideline for. All right, and go to next. Okay, now this is where that you would start matching those columns. Now, if those columns, as I had mentioned to you, if you had changed the titles of those columns, then you were not going to be able to match them, and they would have all been completely wrong, and it would have failed. The upload would have failed. So description, SKU, quantity, all these are all the columns that were on that particular CSV download sample, or the sample now is now your actual CSV file that you are using to upload. Okay, so you choose with regards to price, image URL, and then category name. If there was no column, if there's no column matching this column, then you can just leave that and move on to the ones that do have the columns, as well as I think it was cost. So once you're here and you've completed, all you do is you simply save. Okay. Now